Hello friends, welcome to my channel Go Digit. Today in this video we will learn about the Business Central Performance Toolkit extension. For example, here you can see that I'm currently in my sandbox environment, right? And if I open the extension management page, so currently there is no custom extension I have installed. And if I search for Performance Toolkit, here also there is nothing as such like that. So in this video, we will cover about how to basically start with the BCPT. Okay, so in order to start with that, first of all, you have to search this article aka.ms slash BCPT. So it's a Microsoft based article here, as you can see, the Performance Toolkit extension. So if you want to learn about the complete concept for this extension, then you can search for this URL and read everything about it. They have mentioned it very uh, clearly. So in order to start with the extension, so first of all, let's understand what basically this Business Central Performance Toolkit is all about. Okay, so this performance toolkit extension is built for independent solution vendors and the value-added resellers who develop vertical solutions and the customized business central for their customers, right? And now, if you look at this line, it is important that ISVs and VARs can test the performance of their solution to ensure that new versions don't introduce performance regressions when the volume of the users grows. So basically, it's just like that whenever you customize the Business Central, okay, whenever you are providing your own custom solutions to the customers, it is very important that you have to check the performance of your customization, that how it is behaving now, or whether it has generated some regressions in the existing Business Central processes or not. So this toolkit or this extension is all about testing your customization. Right now, if I click on show 7 more, so let's quickly go into this get started section. So when you come into this, you will see these 2 points. However, the first point, what they are saying here is that the recommended way is to install the Performance Toolkit extension from the extension marketplace in the VS Code. Okay, so basically, and the second thing is that we can go to the extension marketplace page in the Business Central, and from there we can download this extension of Performance Toolkit. So there are two ways through which we can download the Performance Toolkit, but the recommended way is to install this extension from the VS Code itself. So here is the VS Code, and what I can do is that if I just close minimize this page. And now if you see here in the extensions, okay, so currently what we have to do is that we have to search for performance toolkit, or if you type performance only, na, then you will find here the performance toolkit. It is an extension for Business Central. So just click on install, and that's it. Now if I reload, all right, so now extension is installed. And if you type here BCPT now, so you will see that after the installation of the extension, there are three commands are currently showing up. One is the run BCPT PowerShell. Second is the run setup new Business Central Performance Toolkit project. And third is the clear credential cache. Okay, clear credential cache, I don't need to use because I'm already log in and authenticate myself with my SaaS user. In case you want to clear your existing login credentials details and then you want to provide anything new, then you can use this one. This first one is basically to run the BCPT test cases or tools from the VS Code itself. We will see that further. And the this first thing is that in order to start with this process, we have to click on this setup new Business Central Performance Tool. Now you see that I'm getting this new BCPT project and getting this three options: Docker, SaaS, Tide. Okay, basically, if you look at these first two options, first suggest for Docker. Second suggests for SaaS. Okay, so Docker means that in case it is installed for like if you're using the Docker Business Central, then it is used for that. However, currently this extension supports only Windows authentication based Business Central on-premise. If you want to look at this article also, okay, there also I think they have mentioned somewhere that it supports only Business Central on-premise. So if I search here, not sure, but I have read somewhere that it only supports Business Central Windows authentication based on-premises, right? It is not, it does not support uh, username based Docker environments, right? So if you are setting up, clicking on this button, and if you are selecting this, then it will only, when you click on this now, it will only, like as you can see here, that it is fetching the supported Docker containers, which means that it will not give you any information of your existing Docker containers if they are not Windows authentication based. And when I try to create a Docker of Windows authentication, even I tried with the on-premises Business Central. However, currently it is not showing up any of those environments right now. As you can see that I have installed Docker also, I have installed on-prem also, but it is not showing up. I don't know whether I'm missing any configuration or what. If you know, you can let me know. Otherwise, maybe in the future project or this extension might get support that as well. Okay, so right now I click on cancel again, and now if I select this, now if you click on this SaaS, now it will logging in myself with respect to the available environments of my SaaS Business Central. Okay, so now you can see here that it is giving me the information of my only sandbox based Business Central, right? As I showed you up here that in my SaaS environment, I have one production and one sandbox. However, this extension supports only sandbox environment and not production because of obvious reason you want to test, and testing cannot be done and should not be done in the production environment, and hence it is showing up only this particular environment details. If you are having multiple sandbox environments running on, then it will show you up the details of those details. Okay, so click on this, and now it is asking me to create a project. So I'll select this up. Now see the two things. First thing is the standard sample test. Second thing is the GitHub, which is the latest sample test from GitHub. So first of all, I'll select this one. Click on standard. So first, you see what it is doing, verifying that performance toolkit has been installed. So what it is doing, it is currently checking my sandbox environment, and if the extension is not installed in your Business Central web client, then it is installed. That it is then it is installing basically that toolkit. So now, right now, as you can see, it is installing that extension in my web client sandbox based Business Central. Right after the installation, it will create the project and it will give me the list of the standard test which I can run in my web client. Okay, so let's see that once it finished up. Meanwhile, what we can do is that because as we get the second option as well, GitHub. So, okay, so basically, if I open the browser, so here what you can do is you can type GitHub AL app extension. So if you open this up, click on the other folder, and here you can see test BCPT sample test. Okay, and here you will find the list of all the existing test cases. Okay, so what is the difference between this standard and the GitHub? Basically, this is you can say that here everyone, Microsoft is on the daily basis, and other people, other partners who is giving the new test cases to the Microsoft, they are always updating this repository. here with the latest test cases. However, the standard option will contain only the which only those test cases which comes built in the with the toolkit extension, right? So if you click go with the standard, you might find out of these, let's say if they are 20 or 25, then you will find them there 10 or 15. Okay, so if you run those, then also very good. If you select the GitHub, it will give you the list of all the updated test cases, right? So we will see that up. Okay, so first of all, it is giving me the error that install have failed. No problem. Uh, if I see here, okay, let me refresh this. Generally, when I was going with this option now, when the performance toolkit is not installed and the VS Code is trying to install that extension for me, I was getting error as well, last time as well. So, but now if I click on search button, extension management, performance toolkit. So you can see here, that's very weird. I know that although I got an error here that it is not able to install the extension. However, it managed to install the extension, at least in my web client, but then afterwards it might get some error, and that's how it just stopped. However, so as you can see from here, that extension is now installed. So if I type here BCPT, then you will see here that BCPT suits option is coming up. So if I, let's say, click on test, okay, let's say test, okay, tag base app testing, like a base app only. I will write down like this base app. Okay, so if you see here selecting this, so you will currently see that there is no lookup code units available, which means there is nothing as far as the data is concerned or test cases are concerned, which I can use and run in my BCPT suite. Okay, so let's go back to the VS Code. And again, if I select this, select SAS, it will fetch the environment for me. And now if I select this one, press enter, select standard, extension is already installed, so verification will pass and it will not install the extension again for me. And now you can see that it is adding and renumbering the sample test. So basically it will add the standard test cases for my in my VS Code, but it will also renumber them. Renumbering means that in case multiple extensions are installed in your web client, and because with every object, one ID has to be assigned, one object ID has to be assigned. So it will check, read all those extension IDs, and it will select the next available ID for you. Okay, right now in my sandbox environment, there are nothing like as such. So renumbering will not find anything as such, and will start from the 50,000 series only. So it is taking some time. So let's wait for it. Meanwhile, what I can do is that I can open another instance of the VS Code. And here, if I run this one, select Docker, sorry, not Docker, it will not give you anything. BCPT, SAS, select the environment, press enter, and this time I will select the GitHub. Okay, so now we will see the difference of the test cases basically in both the instances of the VS Code. Not sure why it is taking too much time. We have no option but to wait for it. Generally, it does not take much time, but right now it is taking. Let's see here. There is, I don't think so, any problem here, but okay. So meanwhile it is creating, let's go back to this ALF extension. So here, as you can see, somewhere, I think the last one, if you take on history, the last commit was on 9th of January. No, sorry, it was starting from yes, 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 9 January 2024. Okay, so this is the one of the scenario when it was added scenario for creating customer, vendor, and item. Right. So as you can see here that this repository on regular intervals is getting updated by the Microsoft and the respective MVPs and the partners. But the thing is, uh, not all these test cases will come with the performance toolkit extension of the VS Code. So I think the recommendation should be that we should select the GitHub option in the VS Code so that you will get all these 20 something test cases out there, okay, and which will definitely increase in the future with respect to the time. With passage of time, it will increase, and then the more test cases are there, the more you will be able to test your extension out there, right? I'm not sure why it is taking too much time. Uh, okay, I think let me wait for it, and then once it is done, we will start again. Okay, so as you can see now that all the for both the projects, test cases have been added, and now for this one, BCPT2 here, uh, it was running with the GitHub, so you can see that number of test cases are more here. But if we look at this one, this is with the option standard BCPT3, and here the test cases are less in terms of number because these test cases are comes with the performance toolkit extension of the VS Code, and these test cases comes with basically the directly from the GitHub. These are synced directly from the GitHub. Okay, now when the test cases have been added, you can see that I'm getting so many errors. This is there is a reason for it because there is nothing as such in the AIL packages. However, in the VS Code, we have to provide the tenant details, and if we add so, it will, and then we have to download the symbols, and then all errors will gone. Right now, because these are less in numbers, and those with GitHub's with the project which is synced with the GitHub has more number of test cases. So let's see that part. I'm removing this at the moment, and here as you can see that basically I have updated the launcher JSON with my tenant details and then downloaded the symbols. Also, in the AIL packages folder, you can see that along with the base applications of the Microsoft, I get this performance toolkit extension as well, which have these objects also with respect to the tables, pages, and so on. Okay, so now if you look at the test cases here, you can see that object IDs are used as 50,000, or it will be renumbered if the IDs are already used in your current installed extensions. Okay, now the thing is, basically, if you look at all these test cases here, somewhere you will find that some are normal code units. Like as you can see here, that is a normal code unit where the code is written in the on run and some things we are testing. Whereas some code units are basically test code units. So, for example, if I look at this one, or if I look at this one, BCPT Open Chart of Accounts. So here, these are test code units which will run only in the foreground. So we will see that option as well. So these are the test code units which are subtype defined as test, and there is no code written in the on run. And in the test procedures, we are just opening and closing the same. So let's, because I've already built this, now if I deploy this project, this extension in my web client, then we will see how we can use this one or this extension in our web client, how we can run these test cases, both the normal code units part and the test code units part. Okay, so yeah, it is deploying at the moment. Okay, so now BCPT suite, it opens up. If I open this existing test suite, and now if I click on this, so here you will see the list, right? All the test cases are now a part of my web client, and I can either one thing is basically I can not select all in just one go. I have to select one by one. So let's say if I select this 50,000, and if I select let's say open chart of account. Now let's see the difference. This first test case, or this first test which I want to run, is belongs to the normal code unit, and hence if you see this run in foreground column, it is unchecked, right? Because it's a normal code unit. The second one is test code unit. Okay, it is not a normal code unit, and hence it is set as run in foreground. Which means if you look at the code also, they have added a comment as well in the test code units that it will only run in the foreground. Okay, not in the background. Now we have the options that how we can basically run this up. Okay, so if I bet basically, let's say select this one because this will run only in the foreground. So I can click on this button, start this line in the foreground. All right, so what it will do, it will only run the selected line test cases for us. And number of sessions currently is set as one only. I can increase based on against how many users I want to test my thing. Okay, so it will. Okay, so I get the error. But if you look at this, I'm getting the results for total durations and number of iterations and so on. Okay, that error is basically from the code itself against which that some setup might be missing. So let's not worry about that. The main part is like if I remove this one, because what I want to show you up the basically the use case of this BCPT suite is that, for example, if I let's say directly run this one start. So what it is doing, starting background task and running any foreground task as well. So in case you define both the code units here, which is the normal and the test one, so it will, when you click on the start button, it will run both background task as well, foreground task as well, and then it will generate the results for you, which will get updated here. Okay, so once it is done, you will get the results here. the main thing is that we have to look out for this these columns mostly, which tells us that how much time your code is taking, your customization is taking, and how many database calls are uh, going hereafter based on whatever code you are written. So how many SQL interactions are going on with it. Okay, so based on C, you can see you can see the results. Okay, now the thing is, this is one of the suit which is taking accordingly the time. Let me You might get different results every time when when you run the things. However, let's take it as a base one where this standard chart of account page, it will taking this much amount of time, this much amount of SQL statements. Okay, when you run this, when you open the chart of account page, right? So here, as you can see, the log entries as well accordingly. Now, what I want to show you up here is that let's forget about this extension. If we look at this is the custom extensions I have created, and because BCPT is all about testing our customization. So what I'm doing here is that in this particular project, in this particular object, I am extending the chart of account page, and I've just added one line here, sleep. Okay, which means that whenever anyone opens the chart of account page, it will take a bit of time. Okay, it does not mean that you have to write sleep only, but basically when we write the code, the customization in our project, so sometimes based on depending on the kind of a code you are writing, depending on the how much the database size is all about, so it somehow drops the performance, right? So through that we can see the difference that before your customization what are the results, and after your customization what are the results, right? So now here what I can do is that I have created one normal code unit here as well, which is like creating vendor. Okay, so this is the thing. I'm just creating a vendor here, and this is a test code unit where I'm opening the chart of account page, the same test case kind of. Okay, so let me build the project and let me publish the project. So here after publishing this, because I've extending the chart of account page and write down the sleep command there. So now after this customization is installed, definitely opening the chart of account page will take some bit of time. And that's how if we use this in the BCPT suite, it will give us definitely much bigger number than the current number we are getting. Okay, so let's wait for it, and once it is deployed, then we'll be able to see the results. Okay, not sure why it is taking too much time today for every action, but let's wait for it. Hmm, if I close this up, if I refresh this up, it just hanged. Let me see if L project 3 is L project 6. Okay, if I go to the extension management, only this is installed BCPT performance test and no other app. Should I click on download the link? Just stopped. It could be possible that there is some issue here. Yeah, The environment name is wrong. PC test. Okay, so if I remove this one and details are correct here, Control Shift P, and now if I deploy the project again, the environment name was wrong, and that's why it just stopped in between. So it was not able to publish. My mistake. Okay, so now it is deploying the extension. Okay, so now my extension is a part of it. And if I go to BCPT suite now, okay, and now I'll create a new one, new test, okay, new test, custom. I want to do the custom testing. And if I select on code unit ID here, and you might find here our two code units. One is the normal one, like this one is the basically the test code unit, and this one is the normal code unit. So if I select this one, click on OK, it will run in a background, foreground, sorry. Currently, you can see it is all zero. If I run this up, now you will see that how much time it will take. So now you can see that it is taking time because of that sleep command only. But let's see the what number we will get in the total durations, average durations, number of SQL statement, and so on. The rest of the details were same only. I'm using only one user session. Okay, come on, finished up. I think I write down a big number, bigger number. There is some problem, I believe. Today, every action is taking a bit of time. Okay, now done. So now you see the huge difference, right? Total duration is 1000308 milliseconds. Average duration is also same. But if I look at the test number, it is very small, 2093, and number of SQL statements are also less, right? So that is the difference basically. So this is how you can easily check and identify that whether your customization is causing any issue or not, and if it is creating performance issues based on how your business central is performing previously and how your business central is performing after the installation of the custom extensions. And then based on the results you will get, you can easily do some or you can easily do some code refactoring that if that can help you with respect to the performance part, and no regression should come up. Now this is the main code unit. Like if I say if I run this up, okay, we can also run this one. Currently it is running. Okay, so once the running is finished, because I'm running the normal code unit, right? And in this normal code unit, I am basically creating a vendor. So you will see that this run which you are doing in the BCPT suite will create the data in the vendor table, right? Because a normal code unit, in that normal code unit, you are creating, inserting a data as well, and you are running through this BCPT suite program, so it will create the data for you. So that's why it is recommended that we should run the BCPT tests in the sandbox only, and we should avoid using the normal code units in the BCPT suite whenever you are trying to test the performances. You should always go with the test code units, write the test scenarios for all the customizations which you are doing, so that it will only you will only test your performance part, and you will not do any sort of uh, data related issues with your even sandbox environment. Although it's a sandbox environment, so it will, does not make, in fact, any impact. It's just a testing environment for you, right? So that's how we can basically run the test cases, install the performance toolkit extension in the web client, in the VS Code. And one more thing is that, of course, we can, because the extension is installed already, so we can run the test or BCPT suite directly from the performance toolkit through that option called run test in the BCPT option, which this run BCPT tool, which we will see in the in some next video, because today is already video bit longer. Okay, so that's all which I wanted to share in the today's video. I hope you understand at least the basics of how the BCPT basically starts and it just works up. Okay, and happy learning. That's all what I can say. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel.